These are the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup.
And Doran able to get Keen down to about 50% underneath this turret.
They're gonna try, but I don't know. This is a level 3 Cassante. Keen, even with half health, should still be quite tanky.
Yeah, well, they get the CC down. There's the pushback. Keen burning, and it is going to be first blood going over to Lehens. Instantly answered by Peanut taking down Keen.
But while this is happening, Paze is just pushing to his heart's content. Waves are gonna be lost. Experience gone by the wayside. And yeah, they were able to get the kill, but I don't think that's how Hanwha Life wanted to play it ends.
And Doran's gonna get stopped on his back butt. Yeah, that's gonna be the pullback there as Lehens in a little bit of trouble. Viper gets that frost shot on him, and his ex-teammate looks to be going down. Peanut collects another.
Two really greedy plays here from Lehens. The first one ends up going pretty well for Gen.G and ends up being a bit of a backfire for Hanwha.
Time though.
He's too late.
Yeah, Doran's gonna be in a lot of trouble, but Delight should turn up.
They know.
Lehens gets the information. And now Doran, can he actually find it? That death grip, absolutely amazing. But the crash down's working out. Doran gets a big old shield, and Gen.G unable to actually close any of these kills. Delight goes in. Canyon's so incredibly low. Lehens trying to tank up the turret, and FaZe ends up collecting the kill. But now the reset monster could be coming through. Paze has already gone down, and Zeka not actually able to get into range here. You can see him looking for a reset angle, but not going to go too deep.
Still a lot of cooldowns, and I think Hanwha Life actually feeling quite good, although with this gank, maybe not.
Big aggression here as Delight's going to get pulled back. The Eclipse doing a lot of work, but I don't think it's going to be able to do enough here as Gen.G with 3 are able to take him down. Lehens getting revenge on his opposite number.
Lanes aren't real in this game. It's just gank squads and victims of gank squads. As we're just seeing non-stop dives here, non-stop action. Hanwha, though, ending up with a pretty significant gold lead here after the fact. I mean, it's only 200, but they're winning out on a lot of these exchanges. The question becomes, though, have Gen.G staved off the pressure enough? Because Paze was able to get that kill earlier on.
I'm pretty sure that also the biggest experience gap that we have between two players right now, meaning that Gen.G isn't really in a position to get anything going when it comes to contesting.
No, I think Hanwha really, or Gen.G rather, actually indexed super hard into the top side, right? They tried to set up that dive. They had a ton of deep vision, but they couldn't ultimately stop the grubs from going down.
Yeah, so we'll see if that is enough reason for Hanwha Life to maybe peace out, but nope, not happening.
There's a teleport in, and we do have the ultimate available here from Doran. The arrow going to connect as Viper is flanking. Okay, Stranglethorns is going to kill Canyon. He can't impale his way out of that one. And some more grubs going over to Hanwha Life Esports in this Tristana.
It was a very greedy call from Gen.G, but you don't want to give over 6 grubs. 5 is almost inevitable in this situation because you only have one smite button. Once you use yours, Peanut can always get the second. Yash is going to be a lot more utility in terms of how she plays out these team fights than the Smolder and Ezreal later on that are just so incredibly strong and punish any sort of indecision because you have that poke coming through and that burn from the Smolder Q. Zeka's having a 1v2 up here for now as they're trying to shut down this Tristana, trying to prevent him from getting those plates.
What's big here is that with Lehens roaming up...
Haven't maybe watched as much LCK, that would be an Infernal Soul, pick up the Cinders, drift around the map, feel really good about
dive Mordekaiser.
Yeah, dive Mordekaiser at level 10 with the ultimate available. That is a rough choice, but they are still going to consider it. Chovy, he's the one that goes in. The stun had already connected as well from Viper. And Chovy able to get out of the way of one of the abilities, but not that one. Still, it doesn't matter. The Mordekaiser goes down.
But
and somehow he survives. I think the grass might have been a pretty important part.
Yeah, the Tristana, though, is going to be able to push topside here, take that turret out and start putting the pressure on this inner. A lot of resources spent for Gen.G to try to stop the Tristana from getting that plate gold, getting that top turret. She still gets it. It's in trade for a turret, but that's a Cassante picking up the gold versus a Tristana picking up the gold. This is exactly where Hanwha Life want to be. Herald gets dropped down here in mid. This is the type of snowball this composition needs to have to win this game. And Hanwha Life are finding the angles. There's that 2,000 gold lead and even an extra crash.
Yeah, another crash, half the health bar, and actually this is just
the inner.
It's a Tristana and it's 5 grubs. Like, that is not long for the world. In a turret, a lot of gold. And Hanwha Life Esports, despite the fact that they lose Doran, they're unable to actually get that counter kill.
War that we're playing here, that 2,000 gold lead has become a 3,000 gold lead. Zeka, he's the one with all the money. And this is exactly where Hanwha want to be, but here comes the arrow.
Another arrow going to connect this time onto Lehens. That's a big impale onto 2 there, but the Stranglethorns encounter. Triple knockup. True Shot Barrage says no to that play, though. They take down the turret, yes, but they lose almost everyone. As Hanwha Life Esports now have to back away.
Into Doran, which makes sense. But Zeka and Viper, as of right now, absolutely demolish him. We saw it earlier. Just Koenig isn't going to do a lot, and you can see, ideally, Cassante will be able to walk up.
Guys,
Not so much. No, that
ladies and gentlemen,
gone. It's gone. Yeah.
Delight's going to help out.
Gen.G's buildings are falling down. Like, all of the buildings just keep falling down, guys.
Well, I mean, this is what T1 failed to do, I think, to the more lethal level that we're seeing Hanwha do today with the Tristana yesterday.
Drive-by?
No, I don't think so. So now Hanwha have, second Drake. It's not soul point, so this is not the end of the world here for Gen.G. They were able to get that one dragon, so that's 5 minutes of extra time for the Smolder stacking, the Smolder scaling, because that damage is so frustrating to deal with, even when you're trying to contest Prio for a dragon, for example. And okay, hold that thought. Lahen's going in.
Yep, Death Realm is going to come on through here as Doran just wanting to take down the Realm before the battle's even started. Pace in a lot of trouble in the arrow! And it's Zeka that's able to lock down the kill, gets the reset out of the way of Canyon now. And Lahen's is still alive, but it does not matter. There's so much penetrating down. He finally finds a Magnus Storm, and maybe it's just going to be Chovy that ends the show, but in fact it's not. Because Zeka's here and he says, remember 2022? Well, here's another dose.
And we said it's a two-Gary composition, and one of the Garys taken out immediately.
Here into the arcane shift, he just dies right into the arrow. Big mistake. And then you talked about this just moments ago, Chronicle, with the current itemization for Keen here. He just does not last. Now with really good engages here, with the Magnet Storm combo with Canyon, there are a lot of Qs that go up, a lot of burn damage.
Monumental deficits, and there is still always going to be eventually the team fighting, but I'm looking at specifically Keen on this blind Cassante. This is something that Gen.G keeps doing, even though Keen, I feel like, gets beat down again and again and again, and it's not out of necessity. We know that Keen can play the counter picks very well, and I don't think it's one of the core issues in this game.
They're going to lose all of their camps. They're going to keep falling further and further behind. And Peanut, a player very, very good at this, is there. Hail, speaking of which, he's just going to get blown up. Lahen's going to follow suit, but you can see Chovy in a decent position to do damage, and now Pace is actually in the fight. And look at these Qs. They're being torn apart over the wall. Is Zeka, though, still looking for some angles? But they're like, nope, we don't want to risk it. We're going to try and get out of there. Trying to keep them at bay with that volley.
Lahen's getting a lot of vision set up here, actually, into Hanwha Life's jungle. It has a nice wraparound angle potentially as well.
Oh, Delight's fishing for it. They find the Solar Flare. This is the flashless Skarner. He still finds an Impale, but is it going to be enough as Peanut goes golden? But that's a lot of bad guys. You're not on Gen.G anymore, my friend. And Doran now just trying to run away. Once again, Peanut in the ground.
And that's the jungler gone, and now Gen.G.
Lahen's, though, he has so much vision. He set it up earlier. They have a lot of information. They can punish, they can turn.
Yeah, Zeka going for a bit of an angle here. The crash down works, and there's the execute. Can't Buster shot him away from that one, and that is just, that should be Baron.
Making the play work. That's that Lahen's energy that we're looking for.
I mean, he was just moments before they went for that engage onto Keen, setting up for that vision for Baron.
And Hanwha Life, I don't think they're going to be able to grab their Cloud Soul that they had waiting for them in the pit. Looks like Gen.G will be able to collect that, utilizing the Baron that they had. Only 1,300 on the Red Bull Baron power play, and Hanwha Life Esports still have a gold lead, but this is really starting to turn into there be Dragons territory.
Yeah, we're going to get to the point where a fight just is not going to be won unless Doran gets access to Chovy. That's the one way that there is still an out here for Hanwha Life, because straight up front to back, with how tanky Canyon now is, Keen obviously has gotten to the point, getting very close to his next time finish as well. And also a stopwatch, just to make sure he's okay.
For the next arrow.
Wait.
Alright, the arrow is going to connect onto Viper's ex-teammate. The Stranglethorns just spreads them all out. Zeka's almost dead. Chovy is going to use one of his stopwatches, this one for the Death Realm, and now that Mordekaiser is just dead. It's Pace that executes him in the end, and the inner turret now going down. Gen.G might just be finished with game one.
And Chovy does actually get found by Doran, but Pace says, I can step up this time around, gets the damage, and Hanwha can't collapse.
Gen.G, massive, massive win here. It all starts with the play, topside, Canyon flashes for the Impale, they get map control, they turn that fight in mid, and it's just so impressive.
Still going, another Magnus Storm comes in here, maybe a little bit of a bridge too far there, Lahen's, as he was feeling himself. You know, it's been a bit of a high-fee game this time.
He's got Cleanse Flash, and his EO come back in a second. Yeah. It's so hard to lock down this champion without that Nautilus pick, you know, that was banned earlier. I mean, Leona's still good here, but This is so impressive. There's no teleport wards, there's no flank angles.
Dead by the time Chovy is dead, because if he's left to hit them with anything, he just dies. Arrow going to connect. It does give them a bunch of extra vision. Lahan's trying to crash away from this. The Baron kind of ignored now. Doran just putting Lahan's into that death realm. And the Impale is going to connect. It's onto Peanut, but he goes golden as well. His Sonya's now completed. Can he get another spell off? And it's the Cassante in trade for this Zyra. But look at Chovy, they just cannot get anywhere near him.
Keep the damage from Chovy at bay, but it just doesn't feel like it matters. Maybe they'll be able to trade for the soul here. I don't think that alone is going to be enough.
But I think it's the only choice they can make. They clear the wave. Zeka still had teleport, so he can come over here and help secure this so Gen.G can't get the double.
Goes down extraordinarily low. Though. Can he actually join the fight is the question. As Doran, oh man, if Chovy had to walk a little bit closer,
no, never.
Would have been dangerous.
Come on!
And instead, the teleport comes in and they lose an inhibitor in the mid lane. This Baron doing its work here for Gen.G. They're not taking the risks. Going to help that one move on over. Did look a little bit comical, but it was necessary. Arrow going to connect into the backline there. Good buffer on the arcade shift as the Impale used only onto Delight, but he's still melting. Doran trying to get into that backline, but it's Chovy that locks down the first one. Keen in trouble, but how much trouble is he really in? Because this Dragon is only just getting started, but so is the Tristana. Some angles here for Viper as well, as now they're looking for it. Chovy is so incredibly low. Oh, and the burn! Is it enough? And the answer's no, as Hanwha Life, they find the team fight.
25 seconds per base. They can definitely get the inhib.
Oh, we've got an Elder Flip in this game, boys.
Oh,
we have definitely got an Elder Flip in this one. It's going to be an inhibitor to go down here.
And
I don't know whether they can.
though,
I mean, there's a lot of damage. There is a lot of damage. Arrow is back up again. Canyon extremely tanky. Lahan's trying to get in there. Look at that. The Nexus turret just evaporates. As Zeka is not going to be dying to Lahan.
He's going for it!
He's going for it! The rocket jump and game one goes to Hanwha Life Esports.
Zeka!
Once again, with these Azir comps that Hanwha Life Esports put together, I don't necessarily see a lot of damage here unless they can really get on top of their opposition.
The Prio bottom side, they have Prio in mid, and even though Canyon's gank attempt there doesn't end up getting a kill, it gets a flash, and Keen's just soaking the pressure. And that CS lead here for the Renekton is really just not that significant.
What's also very poignant is that this is how the early game went for Hanwha Life, right? Like with that Zyra and Ashe combo specifically, able to get an incredible amount of early objectives going. Now Peanut, thanks to the Prio they have on top side, is going to be able to get the grubs. Doesn't quite feel as impactful this time around though, because I do expect Gen.G to contest the second grubs, and I think they have a lot more tools now than they did in the previous game.
And that is, when is Hanwha Life Esports looking to fight? When is going to be that time where they hit that sweet spot of power spikes? Or do they even have one against what Gen.G has here in this game?
Yeah, it actually is a little tough. I think you are just situations like this where you can get a man advantage and use the long range engage that you have available.
Not a lot of damage until Zeka gets here. He is finally going to come down. Bellow's Breath is fantastic. Even gets the train on in. But Keen is still going to die. And that is first blood going over to Zeka, exactly where they wanted the money. Yeah. But not actually going to draw Keen's attention just yet. He decides to give up on that. Doesn't want to take the risk as they're going to trade dragons 1-for-1 and trade turrets 1-for-1. First turret blood going over to Gen.G though. They lock down that top outer.
Yeah, I imagine that they were looking to see if Keen was going to TP back in because they were hiding in the fog. If he does TP, you're definitely diving again, especially with 4 people there. Peanut, as the other ones can backfire a little bit. We'll have to see as Gen.G do have Prio where they need it and are starting up this herald, but there's the TP.
Yeah, it looks like Hanwha Life Esports, they've decided that now is when they want to start fighting. Decent buffer on the slice there from Doran as the Dominus does come on through. Lahan's going down extraordinarily low, but so's the Crocodile, and he's going to fall first. The train drives through, but Canyon's already dead. There goes the Blitzcrank as well as the Orn's starting to get amongst it. Delight has been tanking a decent amount as Pace just rockets out of there. Chovy should be able to get over this wall, though not quite enough with the Phosphorus Bomb to be able to take that one down, but he just taxis his way through, and Delight is going to be A-OK. Viper with the shield from the Trigger Seed. As Peanut getting in a little bit of trouble, Pace can't tank up the turret by himself.
Had to go so deep to get that kill that he's just in no man's land.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about Pace's gate, but I'm not so sure generally in my phrasing means not good.
It is a fair bit of money.
It's good.
For Gen.G.
It's a very good hook.
Yeah, it does make a lot of sense, especially Peanut had just used it. The chain CC lands on top of him, the Ivan. Oh, they just took down his best friend, and then they cut him down as well. Another hook, and that is the Azir. The main character of Hanwha Life Esports is just dead, and there's no way they're fighting this one, as the Dragon will go down as well. The second one for Gen.G, the first Hextech Drake of this series.
And where game number 1 was an extremely high-paced and kind of frantic affair, this feels like classic Gen.G, right?
Oh, yeah.
We're waiting, we're biding our time, but when we see an angle, we'll take it.
Life need to find some way to rock it. 2 items for the Azir. You have a lot of great ways to set up fights.
Oh, once again onto Peanut. The hook is going to connect onto Delight, and he's going to use that to taxi forward. The Blitzcrank, certainly not very tanky, but neither is Delight, as it turns out. Redemption to keep him alive, but it's Paze just raining frosty bullets into his backside. And Daisy will once again fall down. This is a 1-for-1 this time, both of the supports falling down. As a teleport in from Zeka, he just wants to take as much money on this map as he can find.
There are ways to blow up single targets, and there are ways for Zeka, if they get map control, to set up for flank angles, to set up for engages.
There's no turrets.
Oh dear. Yeah, there are a lot of bad guys coming, and Zeka does not have a lot of friends on the way outside of Peanut. The flash forward from Chovy. Oh, doesn't get slowed down by the volley. Good sidestep there, as now it might be Peanut going down yet again. He does get the brush for Zeka, who's trying to play it out. Paze almost falls. Those masterworks are going to keep coming in, those ornaments being constructed. As we do have a start on this one, there's a lot of terrain for that arrow to fly through, and there it is, it appears onto the cow. Doesn't even press the R button, does Delight, so that is not really what they were looking for. Hanwha Life Esports had an inkling on the plate. Doran looking for a flank angle, as there's the curtain call. We have the Dominus come through as well, going into that backline. The Emperor's Divide is decent, but they're being cut apart, and yes, they get the Corki, but at what cost? And the answer is, yeah, everything.
Literally everything. They lose the fight, they lose Soul Point, and it looks likely they will now lose the Baron. The arrow, but still took a lot of damage, and it was difficult for Hanwha Life to turn there, and they forced it anyways, and Corki dies, sure, but like you said, they lose basically everything, and this might be the defining moment in this second game. We're
not going to be able to find too much more there. As Hook going to connect onto the cow, and Delight going to need to use the Unbreakable Will this time, but I don't know whether it's going to be enough. Thankfully, the curtain call is going to be there, and that does play some interference. Chovy just happily taking these shots, though it's just not doing that much.
When stall from Hanwha Life, the main thing is trying to deny the opportunity for Gen.G to actually take down inhibitors, but I think compared to game number 1, where even with the smolder we felt like there was a real angle for Hanwha.
So you need to be oppressive on the map. Once you lose control, Baron goes down. Now Gen.G go, yeah, we can set up for the vision.
Possible angle here, but this is a very tanky Kane, able to walk his way through the Emperor's Divide. The Stranglethorns comes in, the rest of Gen.G, they're making their way over, but it's just not quite in time. They'll take a consolation Daisy, but they still lose their top laner. But the arrow is up, and it's going to be thrown straight into Zeka, who's in Fog of War. There is a brush there to make sure that he is not going to be seen. Finally, they get a control ward through, but now, will it be Hextech Soul, which is probably game, or will it be a one-team fight finally for Hanwha Life Esports? Already Keen going down very, very low as Chovy trying to cut up Doran. And Doran just can't do anything. He's kind of a handbag in this one. They do manage to take down the Dragon in exchange for the Crocodile. It's a reptilian bargain, but I don't know whether it's going to work because it looks like after the deal is done, Gen.G trying to close this one out. The train does get one knockup, but not onto the priority target as Zeka in the brushes once again. He has Emperor's Divide, but he uses, Emperor's Escape instead.
It's going to give you another opportunity, but you're going to have to get a couple more of these. Not just the Dragon, but the fights. But you're going to want to get the most out of this. Fight your way back into this game. You got to go.
You got to go. You have to fight, but you're cut off. You have no mid-prio.
Yep, Doran knows exactly what's going on, but what is one Croc supposed to do against this one? He presses the dominance, but Hanwha Life Esports are just a little bit too late, and that is going to be the Hextech Soul to come in. Doran is executed, and in they go. The hook is going to connect. Zeka goes golden, but that only buys a couple of extra seconds. The Emperor's Divide was by 0, I'm pretty sure, in that instance there, and now they're going to move on over towards this Baron. But that is not going to stop this Baron from going down. Viper doing some sneaky stuff here, walking away, and is going to be able to take down a bountied up turret. But the Baron is still going to be secured, and Gen.G, I don't think mind about this Jhin going behind enemy lines.
Yeah, maybe he gets a second turret bottom as well with no TPs here for Gen.G. But
oh, arrow once again going to be collected, but it's Peanut that's in trouble. He's isolated. Another hook! This time onto the Crocodile. The Sterix does nothing because he just can't move. And Gen.G, though, will be able to take down the top laner. That's going to buy them so much space. God, hooked. There's no way you can do anything.
it's just doomed. It's just doomed in this one.
And the first inhibitor turret is going to go down. Inhibitor very short to follow. Minion waves prepared earlier here for Gen.G are now taxiing towards both flanking turrets here. And Hanwha Life Esports, is there anything? Is there any angle? The thing is, I just don't see it. I don't see what they're supposed to do in this situation. Another arrow going to be soaked by Peanut. The tree is felled once again. The cow follows suit. The pigeon's down. And Viper just has to look on in horror as his menagerie is destroyed. And the Nexus is going to follow. Ladies and gentlemen, in this grand final, it's turning into a best of 3 as Gen.G clap back, and they clap back hard.
I feel like when I look at this draft here for Gen.G, I think it has so many advantages over what Hanwha Life put together, because if you go in with the Camille, sure, Hextech Ultimatum can buy you some time. You can try to lock down something like a Ziggs, but he's going to be so far away.
Lane swaps for 2 reasons. One, his passive gives him so much damage to turrets. And then secondly, he has TP. Viper ended up going barrier, which I do think is warranted, given that you're playing into a lot of bursts. As we're trying to deny Keen access, but with Lansdowne and level 2, we'll see if they can get him. That shouldn't be
17 win streak.
Yeah, the 17 win streak is pretty good. Grand Entrance is even better here as Lahans is going to go down. That's first blood to the Jhin. And I think that this one may look a little bit better. Yeah, Doran does have the inside track, so that's going to help out. There's the flash Grand Entrance. It's going to connect onto Peanut here. Onto Lahans, sorry. As the hook shot comes on through. There's the flash in from Doran. He wants steak for dinner, and he might just find it. The fate is sealed. And Zeka picks up the kill. It's another one for Hanwha Life Esports, and now they're looking for some grubs.
And Gen.G looking disjointed because Keen was catching the wave, wasn't able to make his way over. So the rest of the team playing really aggressively for a contest on these grubs. Doesn't end up working out. Kane going for a steal.
Yeah, a little bit of a drive-by situation here. Wants to be able to grab one of them, but there are 3 versus 2. In goes Keen, and they take down the tree. It's going to be the Skarner locking one up, and now Chovy a couple of autos, and Zeka's just dead. Delight in trouble too, and it's a double for the Corki. And it went so well at the beginning, but it's just all gone on its head now as Hanwha Life Esports all just lying in the dirt, and Gen.G. What?
How did it turn it around? And then on the subsequent play, misses his hook shot, doesn't actually hit the wall as Canyon might be in trouble.
Okay, yep, that is a jump scare if ever I've seen one. Does find an Impale on 2, but what is the answer after that? That's the question. And the answer is a sealed fate, as they are going to keep him alive for a while because they wanted Viper to get the kill, and ultimately that is precisely what they'll achieve. Hanwha Life now looking to try and get something down here towards its bottom side, but the Dragon has already been taken.
Yeah. Still a pretty decent position here for Gen.G. It might get better.
Yeah, that wasn't necessarily the greatest of trades there for Doran, who just gets leapt on and destroyed. And then cocks his head a little bit in the player cam as he can see there.
He did E into hook shot.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy because it looks like he thought it was going to time out as a Keen. He might be in some trouble here.
Yep, Doran just calling in his mates here as Delight is also in a lot of trouble. The Nature's Grasp is going to come on through, moves out of the way of the turret there, trying to buy as much space as he could find, but not going to be able to escape. So now a killing spree for Viper. He is very scary. But I don't know what it all means yet, gentlemen. The gold is completely even. Canyon's now found another target as they just separate Doran. Top laners are just not having a great time, except, oh, that's a gorgeous Impale. Zeka says, oh, my people need me. I'm going to have to leave, but Doran doesn't have that option. So maybe the caster curses are too strong.
So game 1 was cinema. Game 2 was kind of a beatdown. Game 3 is a cartoon. I don't know what's happening. Everyone's getting dove in sides.
We just needed Doran to say
Game 3 is a TikTok chronicler. Doesn't get the final shot. Or on the grubs rather, it's just straight to this. And yeah, even with the vision that they have, I don't really think Hanwha Life are in a great position here as Zeka trying to catch Canyon unaware, but
There's no great ward for him to go to actually come in and collapse and punish this. Viper is controlling the mid matchup, well, not the AD carry matchup in mid, of course.
Yep.
Controls that wave, has Prio there, but it doesn't lead to anything. And this is just going to simply be Harold going over to Gen.G. They got that last dragon, which at this stage of the game will still be quite relevant with some of that additional healing to come through.
Yeah.
Jack's
oh,
being
Keen's
tough.
backing.
Yeah, Kane now moving back towards the inner turret. It looks like maybe Gen.G not wanting to fight for this one as Canyon just drives through the wall and heads back to the mid lane. And yeah, they are going to give this one up. They're just going to look for some turrets if they can find them. Rift Herald is going to be thrown down, but Hanwha Life Esports don't want to give it up without a fight. A possibility here as the headbutt pole does come in. The Impale, they just want to find any target and lock him down until I can't move for about 15 years, and then he can. And he gets out. Mega Inferno Bomb not going to be enough as Zeka, he just rebinds, and now the curtains have been called. Can they find anything? Can anyone die in this fight? A result, you know, moving past the situation, right?
So, yeah,
We have
ultimately,
a turret that doesn't go down, and we've got a dragon that was taken there by Hanwha Life Esports, and now Chovy's in trouble. Hextech Ultimatum comes in, the flash already down, Grand Entrance comes through, and Chovy, nothing you can do about that one. Wow, even the ultimate invested there from Peanut just for good measure. He's teleported already,
This is early.
Inferno Bomb is up. This Baron's going down so incredibly fast, so they're all inside the pit. The Camille goes down so incredibly fast with the knock-ups. Great here, the baits get sealed, but Zeka also just straight up goes down. This Counter-Strike doesn't quite work. Hanwha Life Esports, they have found the disengage. The curtains have been set, but now the Baron belongs to Gen.G. And Hanwha can't do anything about it. Peanut trying to get himself in there. Pays can't tank it up. He probably shouldn't be the one doing that as Lahens gets the wraparound and Pays gets himself over the wall. Still, Lahens does go down. Viper gets himself over the wall as the Baron is secured there by Canyon. It's absolute cinema, and Gen.G come out on top.
get away with it, but Hanwha make a huge mistake.
that's mid turret down here already here. Baron power play sitting at 2+, hold the advantage. And this Jax is becoming a bigger and bigger problem, is able to buy the arm guard here for some additional safety, which feels fantastic given the comp of HLE. I think if HLE didn't use that Maokai ultimate right on that last pick onto Chovy, then maybe they could have made that Baron work with it as well.
Not to mention the fact that they now get to move through the enemy jungle over to this inner turret as well, putting pressure in so many places. There's the satchel under the turret, and it's a free kill onto Doran at the same time. Gen.G might be able to use this as the teleport does come in, but Zeka, unfortunately, the Camille just goes down.
Down a little bit lower to help them auto.
Well, the Cupcake, that ain't gonna do it either, as Pays really wants to help push this one through. But in the end, it's going to be Keen here, just taking out a turret and then looking to take down a Doran as well. He's flashing in for this one, as, yeah, Tactical Sweep not really gonna be doing too much there. Does avoid the Counter-Strike as he flashes away, and the Deadly Flourish comes down. So Doran keeps himself alive, puts everything into the play in order to get out. Still will survive.
16 here for the Yone.
I mean, I think this is the angle where you try to start a Baron fight and go for a Hail Mary here in turn, because this time you have your ults. This time you have the tools, you have vision, you have the scuttle. You lost the dragon here, but I don't think it matters as much. Turn is Hanwha. If you just let Gen.G get it for free and you just sit back, you're not going to outscale them. You will not beat them in that longer game.
Oh, Doran in a little bit of trouble here as he tries to hookshot his way out. It just does not work. The ultimatum is something that Gen.G doesn't really care about, because either option they're okay with. And Keen gonna step on a sapling and not worry about that one either. So now Doran dead once again. With trepidation and care, Wolf, with trepidation and care as they throw down the ulti. The fate sealed was decent, but Pays goes golden to keep himself alive. Chovy follows suit. And Gen.G just keeping themselves up. The curtains have been called now, but Canyon able to tank it out. Keen as well, pretty, I say healthy. That last bullet was a little bit scary there now with these 4 items on Viper. And they do have a little bit of space to try and get some damage on this turret as, my God. Okay, does the dot do it? No, not quite.
All right, well, now Hanwha Life have their eyes on the Baron,
Oh,
but again, all
yeah.
the tools are gone.
Hail Mary.
But this time you don't have the tools.
Yeah,
I
you may
know
as well.
that, but I have to try something.
Yeah, can Skana get through walls, guys? I think he might have a way into the pit. As now Pays moving on over to the side, Lahens, you know that he's lurking, and he gets on in there to pulverize onto. Viper able to get that flash to get himself out, though. He's so much of the damage. And Doran, he manages to take down the cow. Corky goes down as well. The Baron is secured, though, by Gen.G.
But it just doesn't matter when they're about to head up to 2-1, breaking the win streak of this Maokai that has terrorized the LCK and the global stage for so long.
Yep, a win streak was going to die in this one, and it looks like, unfortunately for Peanut, it is going to be his on his tree. Nexus turret does go down, and this Nexus not long for the world. The short fuse of the Ziggs is enough.
If there is a player, especially, not just given his history on the Udyr in general, which I think is miles ahead of a lot of our other players, but specifically for Keen, after that game 3, it makes sense for the team to trust him. You know, he cracks his fingers, he's like, I got out of bed, I got my item, what are we going to do on the map?
You know, you could see there was a consideration of Viper going for a roam as Zeka.
Bit of an engage here as Delight turning up. Does get the Valkyrie out of Chovy, as we could see there.
I mean, they lose
going to
the
be
dragon.
Yeah,
They lose the dragon, and they're not set up for...
Oh, the flash comes through. Peanut finds a window here. The flash hook comes down, and the punch comes in. Another punch there from the big Bramble Man, and Peanut's able to take first blood.
If you are Gen.G, because you still get the dragon, you want to be starting and stacking these early dragons, because I think that while this composition can go into the mid to late game, I think ideally you'd be doing it from an advantageous position, because eventually, like, double AD carry with Jax and utility the rest of the team provides, I think is something that you probably shouldn't try and take too many risks against. So
absolutely fine. See whether he goes for a hook here. And pays. Oh, he's not going to be the target. It's in fact Lahens, who does get a headbutt off, but this is still looking dicey. Does have to flash, gets himself out of the way, and Viper landing everything.
On that ward there, I don't see any pings just yet. Now obviously they know.
Yeah, not a lot of minions, but I don't think it really matters as Strangled Thorns goes down. Canyon was just wanting to make the most of it, but they don't find the autos. The beauty of the Jax, ladies and gentlemen, is now Keen. He picks up Tower Dagger. I don't know about this one. Good flash to make sure that Doran gets himself out of the way, but he's not out of the woods just yet. Few of these autos coming in, there is no mana, but now the nature is grasping! And Keen gets pushed back. Canyon, he picks up the Tower Aggro, and Peanut is the one to pick up the kill! And now Zeka comes in, Keen's now in trouble, the flash forward just to make sure that he's able to get it, and there's the buster shot! Explosion combo for another kill for Hanwha.
From Peanut, and then Keen, who is in a matchup where I think you need to continue to lead, actually ends up giving up a lot of extra resources. And then it's also a Chemtech Drake again. And I know they have shielding on Keen, but I really, if you go for double dragon, that's not what you want to see.
Unless you're a fan of vintage video games.
They didn't, yeah, of course.
Star Blood going over to Gen.G. That's going to be that extra little bit of money. The problem is that it's not a tempo advantage with the fact that, you know, you're just taking a turret on both sides. Not really going to do too much, especially with even grubs. And now Delight possibly in trouble. There's the flash out. Bullet time immediately as Delight gets the knock up. It's just not quite enough there. But the turnaround from Viper. And he grabs the kill on the enemy top laner. Q, man, really making it through the targets he didn't want to hit.
And yes, Chovy will get this inner here bottom side, but this is a huge win here for Hanwha Life and a lot of map control. The mid tower still stands here for Hanwha Life Esports, but the mid tower here for Gen.G is going to be potentially vulnerable. I mentioned this in the draft. Gen.G need a lot of map control for this draft to function in team fights, so they can set up fights with this Misfortune. They don't have the Rel engage that we were talking about earlier. It'll really solidify the control over the map that Hanwha Life has. Just like,
whoa, that's the flash headbutt pulve as they look for some damage onto Delight, but don't really find any of it at all. And now Lahens just a little bit too far forward. The Mystic shots are landing, but the will is unbreakable. So Lahens is going to be able to keep himself alive. It's a big cooldown that they've used, though.
Actually end up using a lot there. Canyon and Pace their ultimates, a lot going into Delight, who really isn't that impressive. Chovy!
Oh, okay, Zeka looks for the angle and he finds the solo under the top outer turret. The Zeka outplay in game 4.
A sick flash play there, and they get the turret with it as well.
At this point in time, and this is feeling like Hanwha Life Esports actually finding a little bit left in the tank, finding a little bit more, and they haven't relinquished control of the tempo in this game. The hook is going to go wide. But they're the ones that are utilizing first move on map so well. Can Gen.G fight it back, though? That's the question. As Keen just running towards Delight, but Doran says no, you will not kill my support. So much damage down on the key now, and it's Zeka that's able to help. Doran grabbed that kill, and now Viper with the true shot barrage. The hook comes through. Doran finding an extra one. Chovy this time is able to take one, but he's the last man standing. As look at that, the leapfrog from Zeka, but he's going to be moved back towards mid lane with that disengage cone, as Valdez would say, but it's only Chovy left.
I mean, it would have been a full wipe if he's not able to have that disengage.
Actually make this comp function, right? Because if Keen walks up, he gets hooked. If Lance finds a big pick, could be something.
Yeah, that's headbutt pulp. It's only onto Peanut here as the Stranglethorns does go down, but Twisted Advance is one heck of an ability, and that gets him out of there. True Shot Barrage now landing onto 2, and Keen, all he can do is run. You can see now Zeka getting caught out just a little bit, but he will survive. Viper, that Fog of War is now Viper wanting to take matters into his own hands. That's another hook, but it hits the air this time.
There's no TPs, you say they can't back. They're going to come over and contest anyways, it looks like, or at least Lahenda's coming over.
But I mean, they're going to look at it, but I don't know whether Canyon can get in here. He walks over, but Peanut says nope. They're a little bit too fast. And now a 6,000 gold lead is what we're approaching. The Rebel Baron power play hasn't even gotten started yet. And Hanwha Life Esports, they're looking to try and, like, they're pulling out the record now. Silver Scrapes is coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Feels that way right now. We already saw that. Like, Delight gets a hook, gets a punch, and then you kill him maybe, but whoever kills him is just also going down. There's no way out. It's just so, it's almost like a phalanx the way that this plays out. Zeka and Viper obviously having escapes as well in their kits, making it very difficult to lock down the 280 carries.
And when the Blitzcrank is lurking in the jungle and yours is pretty dark, Delight is just going to be such a menace. Like, it's win more versus win more, and Hanwha Life Esports are winning. That catches them off guard. And this is now Peanut taking that front foot. They are just going to use the ultimate to zone. The hook is going to come through as well, but it's just an uppercut. Lahan's just going to walk it off.
As Lahans, you know he's looking, yes, Flash, you know he needs to make a hero play for this to work out, but I feel like Hanwha Life, the counter engage is just so nuts as the TP comes in.
Yeah, the Nature's Grasp is already there. They're trying to hold him into position. There is the knock-up. Lahans does press his R button in time, and Viper is presented for his team, but it's not going to be followed up on. And into the backline goes Doran. He gets his Stranglethorns, and it does nothing because he just jumps out of the way. The Twisted Advance, and Pace can't flash away from it. He'll be going down here as Zeka just chases forward. It's a double kill, and that is going to be Silver Scrapes queued up for the second time this year, spring and summer. We're going to 5.
And Gen.G, if they're going to get the Pentafeat, they are going to have to earn it. It'll be the series that Ox predicted if Hanwha can get it done back-to-back, as he gave it a 5er for Hanwha Life Esports, but he was the only one. And Hanwha Life just showing way more resilience than we gave him credit for.
2022, DRX down 1 and 2, ended up making it back, winning, and again, just the fact that we are about to go to a game 5 in of itself is a testament to Hanwha's approval, and the fact that Gen.G watch it out in these game 5s, but the fact that we're getting there in the first place is insane.
Oh, Gen.G, they might have found an angle. The arcane shift was perfectly timed. It's Delight. He's even able to walk back and punch them. The Mystic Shot's not quite landing just yet, but the Nature's Grasp comes in, and now they're stationary. Viper finding the Q, and he's wiping them out. Gen.G, it was a Hail Mary, but unfortunately, it's a Hail Game 5, as Hanwha Life Esports will now take down the inhibitor and take down these Nexus turrets. We're going the distance. 2 seasons in a row here in the LCK, and we'd have it no other way.
Kai'Sa Nautilus is a combo that goes way back. The guaranteed plasma proc is huge. This is going to be an absolute fist fight. Was able to steal it away.
Certainly a few old teammates of his down here on the bottom side.
Yeah, we'll see. They might be teleporting Keen down again. Lahans is already at the turret. That was a crucial mistake in the first game. They might still look for a dive.
Yeah, 4 versus 2. I've seen this one before. That is going to be Lahans taking so much damage, but he finds the hook. It is once again going to be the 1-for-1. But can they find more? That's the question. Doran does not have turret aggro, so he's just able to walk it off.
We know he's there, but we'll at least take half of your health bar.
We're going to hit you if you're standing in range, dude. Yeah. I think it's probably what they were thinking.
Yeah.
Disrupt's going over to Gen.G, and this isn't the type of game where one team needs to get a lead or one team needs to do XYZ before As the hook.
Oh, another Hex Splash hook does come on in there as Pays gets satcheled away.
Canyon down a level.
There's a lot of people on the way. Might just try and look for a drive-by. It's a big risk, though, with where the Dragon is.
Yeah, I do think that if he does want to go for this one, just don't.
Maybe a catch?
That would be my...
Oh,
my
he's like a
suggestion.
ward away from level 6 as well.
Oh.
Or give yourself a better team fight. They already got that first Dragon as well. Canyon's coming in.
Yeah, looking for the angle there. They don't quite find the dredge line as Doran does get impaled, but he's surviving for so long. The exhaust goes down, but it just does not do enough. The Grandmaster's Mind comes in. The Ziggs takes the first kill. The Jax finally goes down, but now it's Hanwha Life Esports' turn to get aggressive. Great stun to come through from the Shattering Strike. Keen, does he have enough buns? It's Cassante. So of course he does, but not enough to get out of the cease and desist, and Zeka is going to put him down.
Kills, and they're going to be able to get the grubs and the 9 more grubs to Gen.G.
Yeah, this is huge. Grubs being picked up for a Ziggs who already has that turret destructive power.
Oh,
feel very valuable.
hold up.
Canyon says no.
Canyon getting on in there as Peanut not going to be able to lock that one down. It was an early smite as now Zeka's in trouble on the top side of the map. Does get that shield back, and oh, the satchel's so good! Bouncing Bomb is not going to quite find the kill back, but he saves his mid laner. Viper, bit of a hero for Hanwha Life Esports in this game.
Gen.G have been so good this series at saying, yeah, you won the fight around Grubs, but now because you won the fight, you don't have control.
Gen.G investing heavily here. No TP, so Doran is going to feast upon this top wave.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Bolt breakering his way out.
It's gonna have to be a good Drake.
Yeah, Mega Inferno Bomb doesn't do enough to try and steal away a dragon.
And it's because he needs the back. And I thought that they were going to play for Herald, but it looks like instead they are going to look for the cross map as there's that Ziggs value.
Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah.
They could.
I mean, they absolutely could, and they might. The mid turret is still very valuable here into this Kaisa, so we'll see what they want to utilize this for. But either way, I mean, Chovy will eventually push this one down with the help of Canyon and the 4 grubs they have.
It's going to be mid.
Yep, and Rift Herald is going to come down. The trade for Outer on the bottom side for Outer here in the mid lane.
So it's a 2-for-1 here in favor of Hanwha Life.
Yeah, they're able to grab that and under the wings or something, which is where you go, because it does look like, you know, you're not really visible. All right, yeah, Lahan's out of position. Bolt Breaker's going to connect. Hanwha Life Esports looked a little apprehensive, but Lahan's is just dead, and they know it. Zeka going to be able to lock down that kill.
And I was wondering if we're going to see a repeat. We really shouldn't. As Keen, is he in trouble? There is no TP available to help him, but he does clear the wave.
No knock up here from Zeka, who is not very tanky.
Meanwhile, so they are going to get this small prize as well.
Oh, Pays looking for a little bit of an angle here. Let's
Level
see whether
2
he does
the
get
ultimate.
on over there. Yeah,
so you
exactly.
can actually now assist way more easy than you could before. We talked about the Ziggs already. Kaisa's kind of the same in that you can impact side lanes so much, and Keen obviously has great setup. Lanza's setup. The only one that doesn't benefit from it is Chovy.
Yep. There's a lot of saying no.
Yeah, there really is, and you can sense as well, because both teams are so easily able to collapse on side lane. You really don't want to overstep because there's so much CC, but that means again, as a Canyon, just to get these LCK records, these domestic
titles,
domestic dominant and the titles that they've been able to get.
Achievements are huge. I mean,
they don't know. Canyon's in the pit.
Yeah, Delight finding a little angle here. This could be a huge impale. Canyon! He gets on in there, the impale only onto one. Zeka is not going to be focused here as the cease and desist into the backline. Mega Inferno Bomb, it's Chovy that's the target, and Chovy they will find! Pays gets into the backline though, it's a Hextech minefield and he's just destroyed! Delight is trying to keep Keen busy, but that is not a good use of Keen's time.
I think ideally, maybe Peanut's the one that you take out of the fight, right? The problem here is Canyon maybe looking.
Yeah, maybe wanting to find a little bit of an angle here, but Doran just going to jump in and trying to find an angle. 52, as that is going to be the Ziggs that takes down the Dragon. Trigger, they might throw for their team, right? That's what you have to remember. This is game 5.
Peanut's hiding.
Oh man, it's so dark in that Dragon Pit. Gen.G know that they can't give up this soul. It's going to be so devastating. Zeka, he tanks that Void Seeker, and then immediately the rest of the team dive on top of him just in case. There's the dive bomb to come through. Viper, he takes that one. Doran still looking for a little bit of an angle here. Zeka in an awkward position in the back of the pit now. Doran looks for the angle, he finds the counter-strike, there's the knock-up. The Impale is massive, but so is Mega Inferno Bomb. And now they all pile in. Pays is going to be taken down first. Keen is out of the fight, and Gen.G, they don't have the men to do battle against Hanwha Life Esports around the Dragon. They'll take the Dragon away.
Keeping him this low health means it might as well be dead. The Baron belongs to Hanwha Life. And the target selection on that fight, the flank from Peanut, the engage from Doran. They got Pays, and he doesn't have an arm guard. Teleport, he's at Cassante, and there are no flank wards. There is no setup for him.
God.
And you're getting chunked out. Oh, the ult!
Bigger in front of him. And if that was the middle, Chovy's just dead. I think, was that like one balloon from a Hextech minefield? As that is a decent Q from Keen, but now with a whole bunch of friends, Hanwha Life Esports should be able to defend Doran here and grab themselves an inner turret. Very difficult to get that demolished, but now with the Baron, that Siege Minion is able to get the last shot, and here on the bottom side.
In this series, it made you believe, it made you want to think that maybe Gen.G could be toppled this time.
Oh, Mega in front of him just to soften them up here. And you can hear this stadium is starting to come alive. Doran is going to be the first one to break open the base. I think people are sensing a change in the tides. And this is another shot at Soul as well. That's a ward that you're standing on there, Doran. A little bit dangerous. But they are going to move on top of this Dragon right now. Bouncing bomb, a lot of damage onto Canyon. Pays. Still wanting to try and find that window, find that angle. The hook is going to connect. The knock up onto Peanut as he flashes out, ults back in. The Impale is decent, but the Yoni's already struck. Chovy trying to get himself out of there, but Pays once again is going to get executed. And Chovy is the next in line. He'll break his arm guard, but I think that Hanwha Life want to break more than that. As the Q is going to miss, Chovy's still going to go down. And Hanwha Life Esports, another team fight win. And this one, I think, was the real backbreaker.
The final, Rocks Tiger stands strong, gets the engage on, it doesn't matter. Zeka, the only win he ever had against Chovy was that World semi-final, but guess what? He's about to get another one.
It's another Game 5 for Zeka. We didn't know what would happen, but we should have assumed that if it's Game 5, he gets it done. Him and Viper able to put that work in. One last fight here as Delight is taken down. But Lahens, I think, is going to follow soon. Peanut is going to say goodnight to his ex-teammate, and they get to work on the Nexus turret. Hanwha Life Esports have changed history, and they will end the reign of Gen.G, and a new Tiger is in charge here in the LCK.
These were some of the best highlights from today's 2024 LCK Summer Split matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.